Well, good evening to you all, and thanks for joining us for our latest Monday night Speedway broadcast. Hope you all had a good weekend. I think it was the same for all parts of the UK. The weather was certainly mixed, certainly up and down, but hopefully you enjoyed the last couple of days nevertheless. We will be moving on to the action for our latest Monday night Speedway broadcast in a few moments' time. But as ever, do allow me to point you in the direction of the official British Speedway website. That's speedwaygb.co.uk. And don't forget to get in touch with our social media channels as well and keep up to date on there on Twitter. Give us a follow at SpeedwayGB. You can also search SpeedwayGB on Facebook and like our page on there. On Instagram, follow us on there as well at Official British Speedway for that one. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search Speedway Great Britain. Now, obviously, we're expecting a further announcement from the government over the next week or two, and that could heavily impact on what happens with the 2020 British Speedway season. But as long as you keep checking the official website and are in touch with our latest news on the social media channels, then you will get all the breaking news and developments. So let's keep our fingers crossed anyway. Back to our latest Monday Night Speedway broadcast though. And tonight we are heading back to the 1st of July 2011 and an Elite League clash between the Coventry Bees and the Lynn Stars. Now, this took place on the Friday as the same weekend as the World Championship semi-finals. So Coventry were without three of their regular lineup, and the visitors, Lynn, were also missing Niels Christian Everson, but they did have a trio of former Coventry riders in their lineup for this event. But the big talking point, the big story for this one, it was the home debut of the Russian rocket Emil Sayfutinov, the long-awaited, eagerly anticipated debut of Emil. And like I say, a big bumper crowd at the Brandon Stadium as well. But before we go racing, as ever, let's remind you of the full lineups for this one. For the Coventry Bees, Emil Sayfutinov did make his debut at number 1 with rider replacement in operation for Shemek Pavlichki at number 2. Ryan Fisher went at 3 with Kenny Larson at number 4. Ty Woffington was a handy available guest at number 5 with the Bees 2 reserves Nick Morris at number 6 with Justin Sedgman stepping in at number 7. For the Lynn Stars, it was Kenneth Pierre at number 1 with rider replacement for Niels Christian Everson at number 2. Mats Corneliusson was at number 3 with Thomas Topinka at number 4. Ollie Allen went at 5 with the Visitors 2 reserves Lee Complin at number 6 and Philip Cetera at number 7. So many were anticipating a close contest at the Brandon Stadium. Let's see how this one unfolded as we head trackside for heat number 1. Let's go racing.
So here we go with the opening race, the Bill-based Bees against the Lynn Roger Warren's Transport Stars. All about Emil Sayfutinov's home debut, but all about Coventry looking for points. It's been an interesting week. They had a good night on Monday when they got a point at Wolverhampton, and also saw Peterborough, who are still going to be a threat in this race for the top 4. They dropped a point at home to Lynn, but it wasn't such a good night last night with both Bellevue and Lakeside taking away win. So it really is so close to call outside the top 3. At the moment, Poole, Eastbourne and Lynn look very well set. There is time for that to change, of course, in the second half of the season, but those 3 are well set in terms of away wins. The other teams in the league, I think, apart from you can wipe out Swindon, apart from that, it is so close to call for playoff places. So crucial that you keep a clean sheet at home. Coventry being beaten by Swindon a few weeks ago on a night when they were below strength. Tonight they're below strength, but Lynn too have riders absent. Heat 1 on the way. Ryan Fisher in blue off the inside. Thomas Topinka, Coventry squad member back in 2002, in yellow off gate 2. Emil Sayfutinov at Brandon, riding in red off gate 3. And it's Kenneth Pierre going in white off the outside for the Lynn Stars. And he made the semi-finals at Cardiff last weekend, then broke the tapes in that semi-final. Stuart Wilson is the referee here this evening. A big crowd, they've all come to see what Sayfutinov can do, no question about that. The green light is on for the opening race, they fly away, and it's Pierre just about trapping Sayfutinov. It's a terrible first bend accident which sees 3 riders go down on the first bend, and Kenneth Pierre is the only man to emerge unscathed. Both Coventry riders are down. Thomas Topinka is down. Looks like Thomas Topinka is back up. Emil Sayfutinov is on his feet as well, and that is a big first bend pile-up. That's not what we expected to see at all. And Thomas Topinka is on his way back in. Emil Sayfutinov is on his feet, and it's Ryan Fisher who is now is getting to his feet as well. And that is a big relief, because that was a a really nasty first bend pile-up indeed. And Kenneth Pierre had made a good start from gate number 4. He just about out-trapped Saifuddinov. Fisher came across. The two Bees men were the ones who tangled. In fact, Topinka managed to almost plot a course directly in between the two fallen Coventry riders, and that could have been a heck of a lot worse indeed as they hit that first bend. A spectacular start to the opening race, and thankfully everyone is walking back in, and all 4 riders have been allowed back in the restart by the referee Stuart Wilson. Well, that was far from the start that we've been expecting, but glad to see all the riders up and okay after that spectacular first bend incident. We've had delay of a few minutes whilst the air fence was repaired. A couple of the bikes hit the air fence very hard indeed, but fortunately, as I say, all the riders making it off the circuit okay and all able to take their place in the rerun. So to reset the lineup, Ryan Fisher going in blue off the inside, Thomas Topinka in yellow off gate 2, it's Emil Saifuddinov in red off gate 3, and Kenneth Pierre going in white off the outside. So at the second attempt we try and get Coventry against Kings Lynn off and underway tonight. It's a fascinating meeting. It looks pretty evenly balanced between the two sides, both using rider replacement, both with a couple of key absentees. Kings Lynn without a couple of their doubling up riders that they would more normally be using, but they do have quite a few Brandon specialists in their ranks too. Restart then of Heat 1. They go away this time, and this time Topinka has made the best start of all, and missed it completely. Saifuddinov turns back, Fisher turns back on Topinka, and it's Saifuddinov in third place, and the red lights have come on. The red lights have belatedly come on after it looked to be a reasonable start, but clearly the referee deemed otherwise. Kenneth Pierre missed it completely, and the red lights very belatedly indeed. There's plenty of jostling going on that first bend before the referee brought it to a halt, so one can only imagine he's given it as an unsatisfactory start once again. And the rider in yellow, Thomas Topinka, has been warned for moving at the start, but in fairness, of course, the red lights came on so late. Ryan Fisher had already made his way to the front, and Emil Saifuddinov was showing every sign of doing the same as well. So, having let it run really up until beyond the second bend, there didn't appear to be any real need to stop that one, and the Bees would have been delighted to see Kenneth Pierre completely miss the start. So that's a bit of a controversial one by referee Stuart Wilson to call them all back again. And I've got to say, when I look at the replay, that Thomas Topinka has not done an awful lot wrong there. It looks to me like Thomas Topinka's just made a really good start. And just having a look once again, that's just a really good start by Thomas Topinka. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So that's and the fact was that Pierre made a really poor one. So I think there's really see the need for the referee to call that one back, and that has definitely punished Coventry, because by the time the red lights came on, Topinka was already behind Fisher, and he was about to go behind Saifuddinov as well, with Pierre mired. So we try again at the third time of asking heat number 1. Fisher on the inside, Topinka on gate 2, Saifuddinov on gate 3, and Pierre is on the outside. Here we go again. We'll try with heat 1. Green light comes on. This time they're away, and Kenneth Pierre's away this time. Fisher tries to move from aside. Saifuddinov and Topinka clash on the first bend, and it's Pierre who leads. It's Fisher and Saifuddinov second and third, and it is Topinka at the back. So we have a 3-3 situation, and Kenneth Pierre, who doesn't tend to miss the start more than once, Topinka has come to a stop, and the Bees ride, and now Fisher tries to move Pierre aside in the back straight for the second time with Saifuddinov in third spot. Topinka has stopped, but the race is on at the front very much as Ryan Fisher puts a challenge in on Kenneth Pierre, but he loses ground there at the end of the second lap, and it looks like being a share at this stage as Saifuddinov tries to turn back tight, but Pierre has got the advantage. As I was saying, he doesn't tend to miss 2 starts on the bounce, does Kenneth Pierre, and he made the start that time quite neatly from the outside ahead of Ryan Fisher. Saifuddinov now in third place is coasting as well, so he'll take the point for third place, and Thomas Topinka came to a halt at the end of the first lap. So a hugely eventful opening race here at Brandon tonight is going to be shared as Kenneth Pierre takes the win over a very fast looking Ryan Fisher, with Emil Saifuddinov coming home in third place. We got there in the end with the heat number 1. The race is shared, and that was all very dramatic, and I have to say again that really that second restart, I think, was unnecessary. Kenneth Pierre takes full advantage, and with this, and it is Coventry 3, Kings Lynn 3.
Confirmation of the result for heat 1 was a win indeed for Kenneth Pierre at a race time of 16.2.
Bit of a debate about the starting gates being tested out here. see if the outside is going up faster than the inside. 4 riders for Heat 2 are at the line. They seem to have gone up okay there, so they will get heat number 2 off and underway. It's Nick Morris for the Bees, partnered with Justin Sedgman, and it's Lee Complin and Philip Cetera for the Kings Lynn Stars. Sedgman just recently joined Newport in the Premier League and also doubling up with Swindon. Didn't score last night. Bees, of course, without the impressive new reserve signing Peter Kilderman this evening because of, again, World Championship qualifiers. There's some pressure on Nick Morris to score a few here this evening. For Kings Lynn, Lee Complin is the doubling up rider. Their regular choice in that position is Lasse Bier, but he's racing for Ipswich at Scunthorpe tonight. And Philip Cetera back at Brandon has had a reasonable season so far with Kings Lynn. Ups and downs. He was poor at Peterborough on Monday, but he has had some good nights, particularly at home. And of course, he does know this circuit particularly well, so it'll be interesting to see if Cetera can score some points on his return to Brandon tonight. Complin then goes off the inside. Morris off gate 2. Cetera up gate 3. Sedgman goes off the outside, and where they go for heat number 2. It's a lovely start by Nick Morris, gets ahead of Complin. Cetera tries to go around the outside. Complin out of shape. Complin doesn't do his teammate too many favours there, in fairness, and Nick Morris has the advantage here over Philip Cetera. It is Complin in third over Sedgman, and now in fact it's Complin going through into second place, so dramatic stuff here. Complin really wound up to try and have a go at Nick Morris, and Sedgman currently at the back, so round 3 and 4 they come for the second time, and it's Lee Complin who's leading the chase here with Philip Cetera in third place. He's not going to make any particular blocking move here on the Coventry second reserve Justin Spencer, who doesn't appear to be very quick, but Lee Complin here, the Berwick man, the Berwick skipper, is having a really good ride and is still trying that outside run on Nick Morris, who needs to go defensive to try and block him. I think it's still Morris from Complin, and now Complin losing ground, and has Complin got mechanical trouble, I wonder, here on this last lap? He lost ground big time there, and he's going to need Cetera to sit in there with him, I think, and he does. That's clever by Cetera, and Cetera, if he puts the roadblock in, they'll still get home for a shared heat, I think, as Morris wins it, and Sedgman coming and finishing fast, but not quite fast enough. Cetera has come through in second place, and it was clever by Cetera there. He saw that Complin was struggling and just blocked the line into turn 3, and Sedgman was not close enough to make a challenging move, so Kings Lynn do rescue a shared heat from the race. Good ride by Nick Morris, who I said does need to score some points here for the Bees tonight, using rider replacement and a guest in reserve, and Nick Morris has come through with the race win for the Bees. Lee Complin was home in second place, Cetera in third, and it is a shared heat once again at Coventry 6, Kings Lynn 6. Confirmation of the Heat 2 result with Philip Cetera finishing in second place, Lee Complin third. That's not the first time the scoreboard here at Brandon has deceived me, but it was the case that Complin was struggling towards the end of the race. Cetera made it home in second place, Complin in third over Sedgman. Coventry will probably feel that should have been a 4-2, the way Complin was struggling for the last lap or so. As it was, 3-3, 6-6, and we come into the interesting looking Heat 3, the engine room of the two sides. Second ride for Thomas Topinka. That's in fact 2 Kings Lynn riders have had mechanical trouble in their opening rides, because Topinka only did a lap in Heat 1. It's Fisher and Larson for the Bees, and Mads Corneliusson probably enjoying his best British season so far, I would say. His average is 6.85. That of course is not a true reflection, because that's a rolling average, so you can add, I would think, a good 3/4 of a point onto that for what he's done this season. Traditionally starts years well, does Mads Corneliusson, but every indication so far this year that he's going to carry it through for the bulk of the season, and if he can do that, then Kings Lynn is certainly going to be a big threat throughout the campaign, in of course what is their first season back at Elite League level, having a really good time of it as well. Kenny Larson in blue off the inside for the Bees. Didn't have much luck at Wolverhampton on Monday, very much better than 3 paid 5 suggested. It is Mads Corneliusson in white off gate 2. Ryan Fisher, second ride of the night, looked pretty quick in his first ride, goes in red off gate 3, and Thomas Topinka in yellow off the outside. So Fisher and Topinka in fact were teammates here at Coventry back in 2002. That was Fisher's first year in the UK. And we get ready then for heat number 3. Larson off the inside, Corneliusson gate 2, Fisher off 3, Topinka off the outside. It's a really good start by Ryan Fisher. Larson tries to move his fellow Dane Corneliusson aside, and Corneliusson has just got round, has he? Larson picks up the drive up the inside and moves through into second place. It's Coventry 1 and 2, and Corneliusson trying to hit back around the outside as Fisher swings out wide on turn 4. Larson's in there with him, and it's Coventry 1 and 2 with Corneliusson trying to split them up. Topinka again is struggling for pace at the moment, but it's Fisher looking over his shoulder and seeing Larson inside him in second place, and Corneliusson has dropped back on the second lap. happen. Topinka is struggling for pace at the back, and that's a concern for Kings Lynn with him in the top 5. Of course, they do have some Masters in their squad, but racing for Somerset tonight, so no Masters, and Topinka struggling for pace early on, but Fisher and Larson have the advantage for Coventry around turns 3 and 4. It was a good, clever move by Kenny Larson to nip his way inside Mads Corneliusson at the start of the first lap, and Larson holds the second place, getting a bit wide on turn 2, but just has the speed to cover it over Corneliusson. Topinka will come to a stop once again, and the Bill-based Bees here come round turns 3 and 4, and that's a big 5-1 to Coventry from Ryan Fisher and Kenny Larson over Mads Corneliusson. Thomas Topinka coming round at the back. I'm not sure if he'll finish the race, but the Bill-based Bees get maximum points. That's a big one over Corneliusson, who has been in form so far this season, but he was outgated by Ryan Fisher. And then Larson made a neat move up the inside, really pinned that curb. A few Coventry riders have found that patch of grip off turn 2 in recent weeks, and Larson did just that, and that's a big confidence boost there for the Bees that their middle order combination takes maximum points. Ryan Fisher and Kenny Larson over Mads Corneliusson, and it's Coventry 11, Kings Lynn 7. So the Bees 4 points to the good as they move into Heat 4, and they have the 2 guests on display here in this one, Ty Woofenden and Justin Sedgman. I think they'll be looking really for Woofenden to get the win. The evidence of Heat number 2 would suggest that Sedgman is not likely to score a great deal here tonight unless he can make the gate on Philip Cetera. That might be interesting if Sedgman could do that, but you have to suspect that this is going to be a race in the front between Ty Woofenden and Ollie Aaron. And Aaron, another man who knows his way around Coventry and has always been pretty prolific off gate 4 during his time with the Bees, and Ollie, another rider for Kings Lynn, is enjoying a good season with the Stars. Definitely a home track that he goes well at, and it's formed usually what's been a middle order pairing with Mads Corneliusson. They've split them up tonight in order to give the best possible use of rider replacement, so that's why Alan finds himself at number 5. He did ride at 5 for Coventry a couple of years ago and picked up some good race wins as well, so Ollie, whenever he's fully fit, you know that he's a capable performer. Clearly got plenty more confidence this season than he had this time last year when he was just on the point of being dropped by Ipswich. And then he went to Kings Lynn in the Premier League, got his confidence back, and stayed with the Stars on their move up to the Elite League. Sedgman then off the inside, Cetera off gate 2, Woofenden off gate 3, and Aaron goes off the outside. And this is Heat 4 with Coventry in a 4-point lead. Green light comes on, away they go, and it's a elbow between Sedgman, on elbow between Woofenden and Ollie Aaron as well. What a first turn that was. Cetera has still got round Sedgman, and Aaron has almost gone back round Woofenden. That's a tremendous, and now Aaron goes too wide on bend 4, and Woofenden's back inside him. Great first bend battling it was. Cetera goes through the second place, Aaron in third. Aaron has had a dramatic first couple of bends there, taken wide by Ty Woofenden, and then going wide himself again on turns 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Sedgman and Cetera were trading elbows as well into the first bend, and we've got Sedgman now catching Cetera, and Ty Woofenden absolutely launching himself clear. Aaron in second place, it's Cetera third, Sedgman at the back, but quite some first bend. Woofenden is really wide indeed on turn 4, made a bad mistake, and he coasts into his last lap, really knocks off the gas there. He's got such an enormous lead, and the Kings Lynn boys are threatening to race into each other at the moment. Extraordinary going on in heat number 4, but Ty Woofenden will come round to win it, and that was quite some first lap. Woofenden with the victory. Second place is Ollie Aaron, third is Philip Cetera. Sedgman at the back. Well, we saw Sedgman and Cetera elbowing into the first bend, and then a bit further round it was Woofenden and Ollie Aaron. Alan was sent wide on turn 2. He got the speed at the back straight. He almost got back round Woofenden again, sent himself wide, just managed to survive, and Woofenden himself had a big moment on turns 3 and 4 later in the race. So dramatic stuff in heat 4. The race is shared. Woofenden gets the win, and it's Coventry 14, Kings Lynn 10. Kings Lynn sending out Mads Corneliusson for the rider replacement here in Heat 5, so this is one of their stronger races in that sense with the rider replacement in play. They can use every rider. You have to assume that they've got Kenneth Bier lined up to cover Heat 8. So that would leave Ollie Aaron for heat number 11. So they can partner Bier and Aaron in heats 11 and 13. But it's the combination here of Fisher and Larson who took maximum points in heat 3 for the Bees, and that was in fact over Corneliusson. This time Corneliusson's got the inside gate, so whether he will feel that he's got more of a chance from there. Made a reasonable start in heat 3, did Corneliusson, but not as good as Ryan Fisher, and of course by that point when he was settling himself down, Kenny Larson came steaming up the inside. Well, this time Larson's coming from the outside, and he's got the fast-starting Kenneth Bjerre in between the Coventry riders. So a fascinating-looking Heat 5 on the way here, with Corneliussen going off the inside in yellow, Fisher in red off gate 2, Bjerre goes in white off gate 3, and it's Larson in blue off the outside. But of course, this is their last Elite League meeting until the World Cup break. They've got Knockout Cup against Peterborough coming up on Wednesday, which is another big meeting, but looking to take league points here at Brandon tonight. Big Heat 5 on the way with a pretty strong Kings Lynn combination. Green light comes on and away they go, and it's a great start by Kenneth Bjerre and a pretty good one too by Mats Corneliussen. Fisher and Larson both trying to go around the outside. Larson has gone round Corneliussen, but Fisher is left at the back, so Bjerre's got the advantage. Larson tries to clamp Corneliussen, which might give Fisher a chance around the outside. Corneliussen could try and come back himself. They've hit the second lap, and Bjerre made an absolutely faultless start really off gate number 3. Larson did well to retrieve second because the Bees there have been outgated. It's Corneliussen in third, but perhaps not with quite the pace he would have expected. Mind you, Fisher has looked fast so far, but not quite so fast in this one. So Kenneth Bjerre with the advantage quite convincingly here for the Kings Lynn Stars. Now Corneliussen trying to pick up some long straights, trying to sweep into those bends and try and turn back tightly. Fisher dropping back in the back now. It's all about second place. Can Corneliussen catch Kenny Larson as they start the last lap, and it's still Bjerre acres and acres clear. Larson in second place. Corneliussen third, coming up under pressure a bit more from Ryan Fisher as they come into bend 3 and 4 for the final time as Bjerre comes round to win it. Kenny Larson in second place. Last effort by Fisher around the outside doesn't take him round. Mats Corneliussen, Fisher upset as he crosses the finishing line, and it's a 4-2 to Kings Lynn, which narrows the gap on the night to 2 points. Bjerre explosive away from the start from gate 3. Bees are very unexplosive there. Fisher and Larson both missed it. Larson did get round Corneliussen coming off the second bend to save the 5-1. It became a 4-2 to Kings Lynn, and the gap is down to 2 points. It's Coventry 16, Kings Lynn 14.
The result for Heat 5 was a win for Kenneth Bjerre. Race time 59.
2 on the trot for Kenny Larson, who takes the rider replacement here for Coventry in Heat 6. His partner is Emil Saifuddinov off the inside. Ollie Allen and Lee Complin for the Kings Lynn Stars. 16-14, 2 points in it. Always looked a close contest on paper here. Very evenly matched sides, both of course tracking 6-man sides this evening. And man for man, it always did look like a pretty close one, and that's what we've got so far. Just the 1-5-1 to Coventry in Heat 3, and then the 1-4-2 back for Kings Lynn in Heat 5. Their first Elite League visit here for nearly a decade. 2002 was their last season in the top flight. Saifuddinov then goes off the inside here for the Bees. It's Allen off gate 2. Larson still readying himself there off gate 3 in blue, and Complin goes off the outside in yellow. Here we go with Heat number 6. Stuart Wilson puts the green light on, they go away, and that is a good start by Larson. A good one too by Saifuddinov. Now can they squeeze Ollie Allen out as Larson goes around the outside? Saifuddinov pegs the inside. It's Allen in third place, and Complin is out the back. Saifuddinov a bit wide on turn 4. Larson's got the advantage, looking fast, looking impressive, looking quick. It's Saifuddinov in second, and it's Allen in third, and it looks good for Coventry in this Heat number 6 because Ollie Allen doesn't appear to have too much pace here at all. In fact, it's Lee Complin, his teammate, is almost up there with him, and the Bees looking set fair here in this Heat number 6. And Kenny Larson really turned things round after a bit of an iffy start to his racing with Coventry, really gaining in confidence now and winning races around Brandon, which is obviously good for confidence. And Larson leads Saifuddinov. Allen in third place has made no impression with Lee Complin at the back, so it looks good for the Bees here in Heat number 6 as Kenny Larson safely round turns 1 and 2, as is his teammate Emil Saifuddinov. Allen in third place, so Complin is at the back, and it should be a second consecutive 5-1 to Coventry, second 5-1 of the meeting to Coventry in Heat 6. They get it from Larson and Saifuddinov with Allen in third place, and it's Complin at the back. Great start by Kenny Larson, absolute cracker that was. Saifuddinov in there with him, and a 5-1 that certainly improves Coventry's chances here this evening because they go into a 6-point lead as Ollie Allen is 5-1 back on his old home circuit. Larson with a great win, second place for Emil Saifuddinov, third was Ollie Allen, and it's Bees 21, Kings Lynn 15. Second ride of the night for Ty Woofenden, the Coventry guest, riding in red. Second ride also for Nick Morris, both race winners in their first outings. Morris goes in blue. It's Mats Corneliussen and Thomas de Pincker for the Kings Lynn Stars in white and yellow, who now find themselves 6 points down. Of course, if they go 10 points down ahead of Heat 8, if Coventry were to get a 5-1 here, then they'd be able to use Kenneth Bier for a tactical ride in Heat number 8. This you would think will be 2 on the trot for Ty Woofenden. You have to assume that he is lined up for the rider replacement in Heat 8 for the Bees. Morris, his second ride, going off the outside, and Morris could well take the spare rider replacement ride in Heat 10, and also one of Sedgman's later rides, probably Heat 12 you would assume, unless Bees really want to cover off the possibility of a tactical ride in Heat 8. That at this stage won't happen unless the Bees do get a 5-1 here, so it'll be interesting to see what the tactics will be ahead of the next race, but really depends on what happens here. And Corneliusson, who hasn't made a great start so far, made a reasonable one with Bier in Heat 5, but he has the inside gate here ahead of Ty Woofenden, and it's Thomas de Pincker in yellow off gate 3, and it's Nick Morris in blue off the outside. So Heat 7 on the way, Coventry in front 21 over 15. Stuart Wilson has the green light on, away they go, and this time Corneliusson does make the start. This time Thomas de Pincker makes the start. Corneliusson takes de Pincker so wide that de Pincker that he's left a wide open gap for Ty Woofenden to take the advantage. De Pincker has got the third here over Nick Morris, but it's Ty Woofenden with the advantage. Corneliusson in second place, de Pincker in third. The Kings Lynn boys made the gate, but it has to be said that Thomas de Pincker was done no favours by Mads Corneliusson. He absolutely exploded out of gate 1, but he took his teammates so wide, and that's turned a potential 5-1 situation into a 3-3 situation, and Nick Morris beginning to reel in ground on Thomas de Pincker, who of course has been having mechanical trouble here so far tonight, and Morris could still gain some ground over the last lap and a half on Thomas de Pincker, who looks most uncomfortable on turns 3 and 4. Thomas de Pincker, and Nick Morris comes down the inside. He's not quite there yet, but he might still get there as de Pincker making more and more mistakes. He's just got the speed on the back straight for the final time. It's Woofenden from Corneliusson, and de Pincker probably should hang on for third, you would think, but it's not a commit. Oh, he gets in a real state, and Nick Morris comes down the inside, and I think does snatch it. Unbelievable in Heat number 7, and well, it was all over, that was. Thomas de Pincker had been defensive on the third and fourth bend, looked uncomfortable, but a 4-2 to Coventry, and that is points lost big time for Kings Lynn. 3-3 wouldn't have been too bad for them, but a 4-2 to Coventry from a situation where the Stars gated on a 5-1, that is a disaster for them. It's a win for Woofenden, it's second for Corneliusson after impeding his teammate early on. Morris in third place, and it's Coventry 25, Kings Lynn 17.
In a time of 59.4.
Interesting rider replacement selection for the Bees in Heat 8. They've gone with Nick Morris, which is probably a reflection, I think, of their 8-point lead at present, because that means they can hang on to Ty Woofenden for Heat 10, where he can partner Emil Sayfutdinov, whereas Kings Lynn are locked into using Kenneth Bier here. I'm sure if they could have done, they'd have been looking to use Ollie Allen here in Heat 8, because I think you'd expect him to win this one anyway. But the fact is that Bier has to ride here because he's already in Heat 11, which is where their final rider replacement ride is. So that's the reason for the selections, and the Bees 8 up so they can afford, and certainly from what we've seen so far, there's no reason why Nick Morris cannot beat Philippe Citerra. We will see what happens. I think Bier, this may well be the easiest victory of his Elite League career, you would think, although Nick Morris of course has taken some big scalps in the Elite League this season. So it's Citerra, Sedgman, Bier and Morris. Green light comes on. Big race for Kings Lynn, you feel here, but Citerra lifts badly off the inside, and in fact it's Sedgman who takes the advantage, and Citerra goes down and Sedgman leads, and although Bier makes it round the outside, the fact that Citerra has gone is an absolute disaster as far as Kings Lynn are concerned, because they must have been hoping when they saw the Coventry reserves here in this Heat number 8 that they would get something from the race, a 4-2 if not a 5-1, and the fact that Citerra went down means that although Bier leads over a much more impressive looking Sedgman here, as long as he doesn't drag himself into the fence, that says, Citerra is going round half a lap or so behind, and Sedgman holds the second with Nick Morris in third place, and Morris knows there's no threat coming from Citerra because he fell on the first bend. So Kenneth Bier leads after a bit of a scare from a much more impressive Sedgman this time. If Sedgman had ridden like this in his first ride, he would surely have got points against the Kings Lynn reserves again. He found himself too far behind Complin in Heat 2 to profit from his mechanical trouble. Bees here will be delighted to get a shared heat out of Heat 8 because Kings Lynn would have been looking for at least a 4-2, but Cetera falling wrecked those thoughts. Pierre wins it, no surprise there. Second place Sedgman, third Morris, and Coventry absolutely delighted to take a 3-3 out of heat number 8, and all because Philip Cetera fell on the first bend. But that said, Sedgman have made a really good start as well, and Morris may have beaten Cetera too, the way things were shaping up. Pierre takes the victory, that was routine, but Sedgman second, Morris third, Coventry happy with that. It's B 28, Kings Lynn 20.
Right, for points scored then from the senior world sport league. Let's confirm the result for Heat number 8.
Heat 9 then on the way. Ryan Fisher and Kenny Larson for Coventry, and it's Ollie Allen and Lee Complin for Kings Lynn. Ollie Allen will be looking to recover from his being 5-1'd by Saifuddinov and Larson in heat number 6. Well, now he's got Larson and Fisher to contend with. Lee Complin goes in between the Coventry pairing off gate 3 there. And the Bees 8 points in front. I'm sure they'll be happy enough with that at this stage of proceedings, because that heat 8 was a very sensible move indeed, as it turned out, by Aaron Rossiter to use up the ride for the reserve there against Kenneth Bier, who they were unlikely to beat anyway. Wolfenden, I suppose, may have beaten Kenneth Bier, but there was no need for it there in particular. They got the 3-3 after Cetera got out of shape on the first bend. And Coventry at this stage looking pretty good, despite being something of a patched up side here tonight. So Allen rides in white off the inside for Kings Lynn. Larson in blue off gate 2. Complin goes in yellow off gate 3, and it's Fisher who goes in red off the outside. Taking the time to come into line, so much so that the referee beginning to flash green lights and start to show a little bit of impatience with the riders, as Kenny Larson here comes into gate 2, Allen comes into gate 1, and we have the riders into line for heat number 9. Coventry in front by 8 points, 28 over 20. Green light comes on from the referee, and away they go. Larson lifts off gate 2, so Allen gets the bend in front. It's another really tight first bend as down goes Ryan Fisher after Larson and Complin came together inside him, and I would think that'll be all four again as Ryan Fisher gets to his feet and just takes a look at his bike, which is now upright once again. I would think that's going to be a case of all four back, because it was a good start by Ollie Allen, but also a pretty good one by Lee Complin, and looks like Ryan Fisher is perfectly okay. I think his bike may have seen better days. That's his second crash of the evening. As I say, it was just one of those tight first bends. Complin was out there. I thought for a moment Complin was going to go as well, but he managed to survive in front. It was the best start that Ollie Allen's made so far tonight, really, off the inside. But quite often when you have a lengthy delay before a race and the riders were taking their time to come into line, you do tend to get incidents on the first bend in that situation, and that was exactly what happened there. Fisher's bike is being recovered to the pits after the incident, but it was, as I say, a good start by Ollie Allen off the inside. Larson had lifted off gate 2. He'd still got to the bend in front of Complin, and then Fisher kind of going down almost in the back of his teammate at that stage, and the referee ruling all four riders back for the restart. Riders back round for the restart of heat 9. Ryan Fisher, Kenny Larson, Ollie Allen and Lee Complin. A couple of delays here this evening as halfway through the meeting, but fortunately we have a really pleasant evening. In fact, the last 2 Fridays, when in the end there haven't been any meetings here, have been thoroughly miserable. Poured with rain last Friday, which was British Grand Prix Friday. Ryan Fisher with trouble here off gate 4. Can he get the bike going again? Yes, he can. And the Friday previous was when Coventry and Kings Lynn were supposed to meet for the first time this season. They were always scheduled to meet tonight as well, but 2 weeks ago Kings Lynn was supposed to be here. It's called off on the Wednesday, and by the time it got round to 6:30 on the Friday, the heavens were opening again, so the meeting would undoubtedly have been called off even if it had reached that stage. So we finally get Kings Lynn here, and they'll be back again later in the season. Heat 9, Allen in white off the inside, then rerun. Larson in blue off gate 2, Complin in yellow off gate 3, Fisher goes in red off the outside, and we're set for the rerun of heat number 9. Green light comes on from the referee, and away they go, and Aaron again gets the bend in front, this time better one by Larson. Complin's ungated Fisher, although Fisher comes up the inside. Larson turns back sweetly, has plenty of speed. He's got the inside here, and Aaron, can Aaron drop it on him into the bend? He can, but Aaron goes wide. Larson keeps it going. Aaron's still got the advantage. Larson in second place, Fisher in third, and Complin out the back. Good first bend, a good first lap race between Ollie Aaron and Kenny Larson, and it's Aaron who moves clear now of the Coventry duo, with Larson in second place, Fisher in third with plenty of speed. Complin at the back. Fisher in fact did have to turn back on Lee Complin on the first bend, but Aaron is now race leading, showing his Coventry track experience as he leads. It was a great first lap too with Kenny Larson. They were really going at it hammer and tongs, and they start the last lap with a 3-3 situation once again, and it's Ollie Aaron from Kenny Larson with Ryan Fisher in third place and Lee Complin out the back. So Kings Lynn will peg the margin here at 8 points, so it's ahead of heat 10, which we'll see Woofenden paired with Saifuddinov as Aaron comes round to win heat 9 over Larson. Good racing was too, with Fisher in third place and Complin at the back. It looked for a moment like Kenny Larson would get inside Ollie Aaron going to the third bend. Good ride by Aaron to get round the outside, and 3-3 is the overall outcome as the Stars skipper takes the flag. The race is shared, and it's Coventry 31, Kings Lynn 23. So a strong combination here for the Bees in heat 10. Ty Woofenden partnered by Emil Saifuddinov. It's Mads Corneliusson and Thomas Topinka going for the Stars here. Of course, an advantage to Coventry here would mean that Kings Lynn would be able to use the tactical ride in heat number 11 when they have Bier and Aaron, so it would be a good race to do it in. Should that be the case, they would be up against Woofenden in that one. But let's see whether the form book would say Coventry ought to get an advantage here, and quite possibly a maximum advantage in heat 10, but you never quite know what Mads Corneliusson is going to do. Thomas Topinka has not had much of a night so far, and Kings Lynn will be concerned, or I'm sure already, about heat 14, which sees Topinka and Cetera up against Kenny Larson and Nick Morris, and Larson's ridden really solidly tonight for the Bees. 9 paid 10 from 4 rides. Good to see that from Kenny Larson, really getting some consistency around his home circuit. Emil Saifuddinov is very much ready to race here in heat number 10. Mads Corneliusson alongside him. Ty Woofenden off gate number 2 in blue, and Thomas Topinka going off the inside in yellow. So here we go with 8 points, the margin in Coventry's favour. Green light comes on, and away they go for a 10, and Saifuddinov gets the bend in front, and in fact Woofenden gets squeezed out by a combination of Topinka. Woofenden switches back on Topinka. It's Corneliusson in second place with Woofenden in third, so can Ty Woofenden battle his way past Mads Corneliusson. It's Saifuddinov with a great start from the outside. He's got the advantage. Second place Mads Corneliusson. Corneliusson going wide, trying to gain ground on Saifuddinov. Woofenden in third. I don't think Kings would be too upset with conceding a 4-2 here. They must have feared a 5-1, and the fact that they've got Corneliusson out ahead of Woofenden is good news for them. Corneliusson is showing every indication of trying to have a go at Saifuddinov, and Saifuddinov races clear at the back straight for the third time, and this will put the gap at 10 points if it stays this way. I don't think Woofenden's going to get to Corneliusson from there, so it'll be 10 points, and with a tactical ride to come in heat number 11, so not disastrous for Kingston at this stage. Woofenden can't make any impression here on Mads Corneliusson, but Emil Saifuddinov is coming round turn 3 and 4 for his first race win at Brandon. Saifuddinov gets the flag in front, Corneliusson second, Woofenden third, and Topinka is at the back, but Saifuddinov flying off the outside there to take the flag. Woofenden did not make it off gate 2, and he was in third place. Corneliusson splits them, and Kings Lynn, after a couple of bad results for them earlier on, well, they'll be happy enough with that outcome in heat number 10 of 4-2, and that means that Kenneth Bier can take a tactical ride in heat number 11. But Saifuddinov gets the race win over Corneliusson, Woofenden third, and it's Coventry 35, Kings Lynn 25. So Kenneth Bier gets the 6 points with a tactical ride win for Kings Lynn. Ty Woofenden battling hard for second place. Third place, Ollie Aaron, so that is a 7-2 to Kings Lynn. And with 11 heats gone, it's Coventry 37, Kings Lynn 32.
Race time 59.2.
Bit of a panic in the Kings Lynn pits to get Mads Corneliusson turned round for heat 12. The 2-minute warning was counting down, but he has made it on the track comfortably enough. Ryan Fisher and Justin Sedgman here for the Bees. Mads Corneliusson and Philip Cetera coming in to replace Lee Complin. Kings Lynn at 37-32 down. Certainly got designed to taking points from the meeting. They could still win it yet with Bier in such storming form. Be interesting to see what happened if Bier didn't make the gate. He's pretty much made all 4 so far. There's a big heat 13 on the way as well, but heat 12 on the way first, with Ryan Fisher in red off the inside, Philip Cetera in yellow off gate 2. It's Justin Sedgman in blue off gate 3, and Mads Corneliusson goes in white off the outside. 37-32. As we expected, a very competitive encounter indeed. They fly away. Cetera gets a really bad start. Corneliusson trying to go round Fisher off the second bend. He's got plenty of speed there, Mads Corneliusson, and Kings Lynn have got exactly what they want here as Mads Corneliusson sweeps around the outside of Ryan Fisher, and Philip Cetera has 3rd place over Justin Sedgman. So 4-2 to Kings Lynn if it stays this way. Would cut the gap down to 3 points, and there's still plenty of racing to come in this meeting as Corneliusson leads at the back straight for the second time. Fisher made a decent drop off the inside gate, but Corneliusson had that speed round the outside from 4. Fisher is moving into challenge. It's Cetera in 3rd over Sedgman, and Corneliusson now on the money line, on the fast line, leads up the back straight for the 3rd time, and Kings Lynn with this will go from 5 points down to 3 points down, and they've got a strong combination coming in heat 13, mind you, so have Coventry as they start the last lap, and it's Mads Corneliusson looking set for his first race win of the meeting. Second place is Ryan Fisher. You do have to wonder if Mick Morris would be in 3rd place there over ahead of Philip Cetera with Justin Sedgman at the back, but that is academic really as the race goes to a 4-2 to Kings Lynn, and the 5-point gap becomes 3, and we've got a heck of a meeting on now in the final 3 heats. Corneliusson takes the victory, Fisher in 2nd place, Cetera in 3rd, and it's Coventry 39, Kings Lynn 36.
So they're getting a little bit closer.
Big race then here, heat number 13, 39-36 in favour of the Build Bay Speed. Emil Saifuddinov, Ty Woofenden, Kenneth Bier and Ollie Allen. This is a real heat 13 crunch clash. Bier has the inside gate, he is unbeaten so far. Coventry have something of a safety net of heat 14 on paper, it would appear. Topinka and Cetera for Kings Lynn, Larson and Morris for Coventry. But can Kings Lynn increase the pressure here in heat 13? Can Kenneth Bier keep on winning? He's had the dominance over Emil Saifuddinov so far in the UK. 4 meetings and 4 wins for Kenneth Bier, if you include the races at Kings Lynn a month or so ago. Woofenden off the outside here, Allen in between. Cracking racing prospect here, heat 13. Bier, Saifuddinov, Allen and Woofenden. Green lights on and they're away. And again, Bier makes a start, and Ollie Allen's made the start with him. And this is dramatic stuff here as Saifuddinov makes the inside. Woofenden does screaming around the outside. What a ride by Woofenden to go in between the Kings Lynn riders. And Saifuddinov tries to go past Ollie Allen. He's clamped by Kenneth Bier. Saifuddinov at the back, he goes past Allen. Does he not quite? Allen still maintains it. Great ride by Ty Woofenden to go between them. And Saifuddinov doing all he can to rear in the ground on Ollie Allen, who's still got that 3rd place for now, and it could well be a 3-3. A blistering ride by Woofenden, and can Saifuddinov retrieve 3rd place as he gets down the inside and moves Ollie Allen aside, and a strong ride by Emil Saifuddinov takes him past Ollie Allen and through into 3rd place in a 4-2 situation to Coventry, which would ease their nerves somewhat, it would appear. A fantastic ride by Woofenden, because Bier has been unbeaten so far tonight, and Woofenden thread the eye of a needle there off the second bend on the back straight to get past the Stars riders. Saifuddinov was squeezed out, but he did manage to retrieve the place off Ollie Allen. He's gaining ground big time on Kenneth Bier on the final bend. It's going to be a Coventry 4-2, and Woofy, Ty Woofenden wins heat 13 over Kenneth Bier. He's the first man to beat Bier tonight. Woofenden gets the win. 2nd place, Kenneth Bier. Emil Saifuddinov, an exciting 3rd, passing Ollie Allen, and that's a big 4-2 to Coventry in heat 13. It could have gone either way. Looking at the race at the starting line, they've got heat 14 to come, which should favour them, and Ty Woofenden has been a terrific guest here for Coventry tonight, and he has taken a big win in heat 13, and a Coventry 4-2 puts the lead back to 5. It's Coventry 43, Kings Lynn 38.
The result for heat 13 was indeed a win for Ty Woofenden.
Five points in it then with 2 heats to go, so a shared heat here would in Coventry win the meeting effectively. They'd be 5 up with 1 to go. If the Bees could take a 5-1 here, that would leave Kings Lynn needing a 5-1 in 15, where I suspect it'll be Bier and Corneliusson going in heat 15 for Kings Lynn, and the Bees are probably going to look at certainly Woofenden and either Saifuddinov or Larson. But can Kings Lynn make it even more nervous by taking something in Heat 14? That would be against the form book if they were to do that. But we've seen the form book turned upside down on numerous occasions. So Heat number 14 could yet be dramatic. It is Nick Morris going in blue off the inside for the Bees, unlucky in his last ride not to score. It's Thomas Topinka who's not scored so far in white off gate 2. Kenny Larson in red off gate 3. And Philip Cetera goes in yellow off the outside. He's scored 4 page 5 so far from 4 rides. Good racing here tonight, and 2 heats to go to sort out this Elite League contest as the green light comes on for Heat 14, and away they go. Larson lifts off gate 3, gets to the bend in front. Good start too by Nick Morris. He's certainly got the better of Thomas Topinka. Cetera tries to switch back, might get in between everyone there. Morris looks across, and Cetera incredibly almost gets around everyone, but Morris takes him wide. Topinka sends Larson to the back. It's really tight and competitive, and Nick Morris comes out in front, but Kenny Larson is at the back. It's Cetera trying to go around the outside. Larson trying to regain ground on Topinka. Larson actually made the start, but he got completely beaten up on the first bend, and now Cetera, the former Coventry man, is going round Nick Morris to take the lead. Morris tries to take Cetera wide, but Cetera still has it, gets round the outside. Cetera and Morris neck and neck. Larson trying to gain ground on Thomas Topinka, and a 4-2 to Kings Lynn here. It's really dramatic, and it might get even better for them because Morris makes a mistake and Topinka gets down his inside, and then Morris, and then Cetera comes to a stop. What a dramatic race this is as Thomas Topinka has the advantage. Morris in second place, Larson in third. You couldn't, well, everything was happening there, and Thomas Topinka, who has not scored a point all night, might just about win Heat 14, and he doesn't know how he's done it. He does not know how he's done that, Thomas Topinka. He wins it over Nick Morris. The third place is Kenny Larson, who can't believe what's happened, and normal Philip Cetera. How many things happened in that heat number 14, and for a moment at the end of lap 3, Kings Lynn were on a 5-1 before Cetera's bike went bang, and a 3-3 means that Coventry effectively won the meet, and though Kings Lynn can still get something out of it, a hugely dramatic heat number 14 is shared with Topinka winning, second place Morris, third Larson, and it's Coventry 46, Kings Lynn 41.
Commiserations to Philip Cetera, who is up for Heat 14 for the win for Thomas Topinka. The race time 62.2.
So great racing here at Brandon tonight, and 46-41 the score, so Kings Lynn requiring a 5-0 to draw the meeting. But perhaps more pertinently than that, a shared heat for Kings Lynn or better will see them take a point from the meeting, which would certainly further their playoff aspirations and would effectively wipe out the point that Coventry gained at Wolverhampton on Monday night. It always looked like being a close meeting tonight, and I think that Coventry would be happy to win it whatever given the team situation. But when you're so close to 3, you want three points. And to do that, they're going to have to once again find someone to beat Kenneth Bier, who has the inside gate in white. It's Ty Wolfenden in red off gate 2, and what a fine guest he's been for Coventry. Mads Corneliusson goes in yellow off gate 3, and it's Emil Saifuddinov going in blue off the outside. Terrific contest here tonight in front of a very big crowd indeed. They've come to see Saifuddinov. He has certainly produced some spectacular stuff, but he's been far from the only rider to be spectacular, and Heat 15 on the way, which will determine the final destination of all the Elite League points tonight. Green light comes on then, and away they go, and it's the Stars who make good gates. Wolfenden gets in between them, and going wide is Mads Corneliusson, and Corneliusson might make it all the way around the outside. What a great ride by Mads Corneliusson, and Saifuddinov will try and come back inside him on the fourth bend, and he takes him wide. Corneliusson goes really wide and covers the fence and goes down, and that will give Coventry a second chance. And Kenneth Bier, the red lights come on, Bier's got the advantage, but Corneliusson's gone on turn 4, and the blue exclusion light comes on. The blue light comes on for Emil Saifuddinov. The blue light is on for Emil Saifuddinov, and that's quite a call by the referee. Crowd not at all happy with that, and we'll have to see the replay, see if I've called that one completely wrong, and if I have, I'll apologise. Corneliusson had ridden a good first lap to come around the outside. Saifuddinov backing him on the inside on the third bend. Saifuddinov there on the inside, and there is no contact at all. That is an outrageously bad decision by the referee. Saifuddinov has left plenty of space for Mads Corneliusson, and I'm afraid that is an absolute howler by the referee, which is going to potentially cost Coventry a point from the meeting. An absolute shockingly bad decision that is, because there's no contact at all, and Corneliusson's got plenty of space to get round the outside, and the referee has somehow managed to deem Sayfudinov the cause of that stoppage. The referee, he's not going to change his mind, but because they don't change their minds, but if he would only take a look at that replay, he'd realise he's got that hideously wrong, because Sayfudinov has made a fair pass on the inside, and Corneliusson's just driven himself into the fence on the outside. Sayfudinov has come inside him, they're mid-track, he's got plenty of space to make it right. Corneliusson's gone by himself, and the referee Stuart Wilson has had an absolute nightmare there. It's an absolutely disgraceful decision, and of course they won't do anything about it, but the referee there has cost Coventry big time. That is an unbelievably poor decision, really, and Sayfudinov is quite wrongly disqualified.
That is so everything's fired up for this then. Woohoo! There we go, 3 rounds only coming to the right.
What you can't believe when the riders come round is that the referee has made a mistake. He's made a bad mistake, and it's been proved by the replays, and it's proved within seconds by the replays. We've got the film, we've got the cameras here, we've got 2 camera angles on it. The crowd have seen the replays. Why can the referee not look at a replay before switching that light on? And then in that case, he would have certainly disqualified Mads Corneliusson, who fell on his own off turn 4. Not a case of taking a dive, he just fell, he lost ground, he fell and went, and that leaves Kings Lynn taking a point. They may still have got a point from the meeting, because Bier may well have won heat 15 anyway. He was leading when the incident happened, but Coventry should have been given a second shot here at Kenneth Bier with both Woofenden and Sayfudinov, and without the threat of Corneliusson going around the outside. It's a refereeing howler, which unfortunately we have to think back to the Rory Schlein incident at Wolverhampton a couple of years ago as well, with the same referee, and it's very unfortunate that it should happen, but it is a shockingly poor decision. No, absolutely no way you can say anything else about that. The rerun of Heat 15, and the Bees do need Woofenden to finish this race here. It is Bier in white, it's Woofenden in red, and it's Corneliusson in yellow. The green light is on for that rerun. They go away. Woofenden this time has made the start. It's really tight in the first bend. Corneliusson's gone again. Corneliusson has gone down again, and the red lights are on again. And this is going to go on and on and on, as the referee immediately calls the race to a halt again as Corneliusson goes down. The red lights come on, the crowd voicing their discontent. It doesn't make a great deal of difference, to be honest, whether he disqualified Corneliusson or rules all riders back, in the sense that Coventry can't get all 3 points here, because they can't get an advantage unless neither Kings Lynn rider finishes to take them above the 6-point mark. But the referee is going to do it again, and he's going to put all 3 back in. So we're going to try again with Heat 15, third time of asking. It's a thoroughly unsatisfactory end to this meeting, with Kenneth Bier in white. I think that was fair enough, all 3 back there. It's just the crowd's frustration comes into play there, because it's Corneliusson who's gone down again, and it's Bier then on the inside, Woofenden on gate 2 and Corneliusson off gate 3. The situation remains the same. Woofenden needs to finish this race for Coventry to make sure they win the meeting, because with Sayfudinov having been ridiculously disqualified, and even a win for Woofenden will not actually do any good for Coventry as far as getting 3 points from the meeting is concerned. They're limited to 2 here unless both Kings Lynn riders grind to a halt in this rerun. So it's been dramatic, but as I say, they should be sat here on a rerun. Well, they should have been sat on a rerun several minutes ago, with Woofenden and Sayfudinov up against Kenneth Bier, rather than going 1 against 2 as they are in this second rerun of Heat 15, with Bier on the inside, Woofenden on gate 2, Corneliusson on gate 3. Green light comes on, and away they go, and it's so tight going in once again, and Corneliusson is sent really wide by Ty Woofenden. Bier pegs the inside line, Woofenden goes flying around the outside. It's a tremendous ride by Ty Woofenden to go past Kenneth Bier. Superb stuff by the Coventry guest. He's being urged on by the Coventry fans, and now he turns it tight on the second minute. Bier tries to hit back, but Kings Lynn will be happy enough, because they're going to take a point from the meeting and limit Coventry to 2 as Pierre tries to hit back on Woofenden as they come to start the third lap. Woofenden still with the advantage. It's Pierre in second place. Woofenden going really wide off the second bench. Such a talented motorcycle rider, Ty Woofenden is, particularly when he's fully fit and feeling confident. Pierre trying to hit back around the outside. Cornelius in third, 1 lap to go on Ty Woofenden, who, let's not forget here, is bringing Coventry home to victory on the night. That's the crucial thing here. He's beating Kenneth Pierre again, which is a great effort, and Bees will feel that dreadful referee decision has definitely cost them a point, but it's a fantastic ride again by Ty Woofenden to win heat 15 for the Bees over Kenneth Pierre, with Mads Cornelius in third place. Kings Lynn take a point. Woofenden has been superb, and the final score is 49-44 in Coventry's favour. Brilliant stuff by Woofenden tonight. Absolutely fantastic guest he's been for Edward Kennett. A bit of a sour taste in the mouth after the crazy referee decision has cost Coventry a point, but Ty Woofenden, the Coventry guest, has given absolutely everything for the team here tonight, and he gets a tremendous victory again in heat number 15. And the final score is Coventry 49, Kings Lynn 44.
Okay, we're here with Coventry's new number 1, Emil Sayfutdinov. It was your debut match today here at Coventry. Tell us your thoughts on your first match here at Brandon.
Yeah, I feeling is after crash and first hit is a little bit is bad. But is later is my bike is I must change bike. Later is better. Last hit and exclusive. It's not. It's okay. It's good that is we win and I'm happy.
So obviously to all the fans here there was a lot of anger over that Heat 15 exclusion. Can you just talk us through what happened a little bit?
I don't know. I don't touch him and but it's referee exclusive me. And I don't know. Maybe it's ask better as a referee. Will be better.
Obviously you've ridden here once in the World Cup. What are your impressions of the Coventry track? Did you enjoy the track today?
Yeah, it's very nice track and enjoying its first hit mine is a little bit is bad, but because I don't know is what I make a sit up and it's later is everyone hit is better.
What were your impressions of Wolverhampton? Obviously you went there the other week and it's a very, very small track, very different to what you're used to. How did you find Wolverhampton?
Yeah, it's for sure it's a very hard track. For me it's a good experience, but I don't win as a hit is there, but I'm happy now. For me it's for sure it's a good experience.
So is that the main reason you've decided to ride over here in Britain this season, to obviously improve yourself as a rider in the GP as well?
Yeah, I must in the GP I must only take points and finish season is good and it's not injury and feeling is good and of course in the league in England and Poland and Russia is helping my team.
So how are you finding the GPs? Currently you're 7th, you've had a 3rd and a 4th. What's your sort of aim in the GP this season? Where are you hoping to finish at the end of the year?
Yeah, of course I want is top 3 and we'll see. But this Grand Prix is very hard this year, but I'm more working and we'll be okay.
Okay, placebo Emil, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I'm here with Coventry team manager Alan Rossiter. Obviously you picked up 2 points tonight. It was Emil's debut as well. Talk us through your thoughts on today and of course Heat 15.
It's been just one of them weeks with referees, I think. It started off at Cardiff with Emil, then we had Paul Carrington on Monday, and then we had Stuart Wilson tonight. Well, it must be just the week to pick on Cov, I think. Absolutely atrocious decision tonight I've seen.
We spoke to Emil about it. He was quite reluctant to say too much, but clearly there was so much anger amongst all of the fans and watching all the replays. It really was a strange decision to make.
Big, very, very strange. And the best was, he's in the highest point of the building looking down on it all. And if clearly see, he wasn't even close. He said he went across him. Mads, you know what Mads rides like. He rides in the dirt, full out. And he just picked up, Emil was there, and I think he panicked a little bit.
What did you think of Sayfutdinov's debut, apart from obviously the Heat 15?
It's always going to be tough. He's going to need a little time to settle in. But I'm sure once he gets started in a couple more, he'll be fine. Really pleased with him, got no problems at all.
And obviously you got a really good guest today with Ty Wolfenden, picked up some really useful points today.
Yeah, over the moon with Ty, you know, I thought, you know, that was he rode absolutely his heart out and gave it 120%, and I couldn't ask for no more, and I have to say big thank you to him, you know, because he just gave it everything. Absolutely tremendous.
And of course, looking ahead, you've got Peterborough here in the Knockout Cup. What are your thoughts ahead of that match?
Obviously just, you know, try and get, you know, as much as we can, but it's going to be tough, you know, because they ride this track well. They've ridden here a few times this year, but fingers crossed, barring no injuries, we should have a full side for a change.
Thanks very much. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yet another fascinating fixture from our British Speedway video archives. Controversial decisions and talking points throughout, I'm sure you'll agree. And commentator David Rowe there, he certainly made his feelings known, as did then Bees boss Alan Rossiter. He had plenty to say after that fixture. Nevertheless, it added to the excitement and the drama, especially as we watch back 9 years on. We hope you enjoyed that fixture we have just brought your way. And now it's time to bring you details of next week's Monday Night Speedway broadcast. And it is Monday, July the 6th. Join us on our Facebook and YouTube channels from 7:30 as we head back to the summer of 2016 and an Elite League clash between the Wolverhampton Wolves and the Bellevue Aces from the Monmouth Green Stadium. And the lineups that night included the likes of Freddie Lindgren, Peter Carlson, Scott Nichols and Craig Cook. And with the Wolves and the Aces building up a rivalry, particularly in recent seasons, this is another fixture you don't want to miss. So the Wolverhampton Wolves against the Bellevue Aces from 2016, next Monday, July the 6th from 7:30. You can join me this coming Friday from 8:30 on our YouTube and Facebook channels for the latest instalment of the British Speedway Quiz Night. So whether you're a regular quizzer or want to join us for the first time, 8:30 on our YouTube and Facebook channels is the place to be to test your knowledge. Like I say, plenty of content being brought your way on our official website, speedwaygb.co.uk, and keep in touch with all the latest on our social media channels. Give us a follow on Twitter at SpeedwayGB, like our SpeedwayGB Facebook page. On Instagram, give us a follow at Official British Speedway, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Speedway Great Britain. So enjoy the rest of your week, stay safe, be sensible, and I'll catch you back on Friday for the latest instalment of our British Speedway Quiz Night.